Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen, with the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force.
They've outgrown their age of rebellion, dulled the Empire's edge, defeated Imperial generals and the Pirate Queen's dredge. They've been soldiers and scoundrels, what's there left to be? How about lost acolytes looking for their force and destiny? There's a seer, hermit, investigator, and teacher. Better watch your back or a vibe or ring's gonna reach you. Will this team find the light or will darkness win the day? Find out with the heroes of the Hydian Way.
Previously on Heroes of the Hydian Way, Soldier Ward vanished after starting a fight at peace negotiations, leaving behind a trail of confusion and betrayal. 4 newcomers to the Force took upon themselves the responsibility of Ward's legacy. They followed the path of the time shortly before his disappearance, picking up pieces left behind, crystals containing the legacy he intended, and rubble from the decisions he made along the way. The final clues led them to an end they could not have anticipated. Alone on a Sith planet, Ward lingered, waiting to return to a galaxy with answers only he can see. But what are the questions? Join them this week as they hear Whispers on the Wind.
Welcome to Heroes of the Hydian Way. This is a Star Wars actual play podcast, and we're playing in Fantasy Flight Games' Force and Destiny system. This adventure is inspired by Chronicles of the Gatekeeper adventure as developed by Tim Cox and Max Brook. This is Act 3, Episode 11, and I'm Ben, the GM for this adventure.
I'm Kesh, the Trandoshan Mystic Seer and Neiman Disciple, and, look everybody, I know Korriban isn't the greatest planet to be on, but, hey, it could be worse. We could be on Tatooine.
I'm Koba, the Doug Sentinel Investigator, and, Shian expert. I got a booster shot yesterday, that's why my voice sounds like this, and,
those stim packs hit really hard these days.
Tatooine's not the worst planet in the galaxy. It's low, though, I'll give you that.
Mm. Well, what's the lowest then?
Well, I mean, they at least have pod racing on Tatooine.
Okay, so, yeah, I guess if you're into that kind of thing, which I guess being from Malastare you are. So what's lower than Koba?
I mean, just off the top of my head, didn't like Dak that much.
That's fair. That planet was very strange.
Too much water.
To be fair, I'm not a big fan of this one way or the other. Not high on my list. But, I'm Hillary, and I'm here as the sagely teacher, attending these wayward disciples and experts and whatnot. I'm the voice of sense.
But I'm the one that has ranks and sense.
Well, why don't I move us along?
Oh. Yeah. Did we skip somebody?
I feel like we did, but I can't think of who.
Would it be whom?
Skip. Yeah, I can think of who we skipped.
To learn more about our heroes, we get one to ask another question, and it is now Hillary's turn.
Kesh, dear, you come from, we'll say a warrior race.
That's a way to put it, yes.
Lots of violent things are expected about you.
Mm-hmm.
Where does fear come into play? What does it mean to your people?
All right, so where does fear factor in? Fear is something else to be conquered. It's a potential obstacle on the way to, well, glory, to points. It can also be useful in order to keep you alive. Yes, we track our our kills, our victories, but it's all pretty meaningless if you die along the way. I don't really feel afraid now where we are. Well, maybe that's not true. I'm confident that we'll overcome the challenges put before us, Hillary. And, at least there's no more heights here.
I don't know. There's lots of high spots. We're just not in one of them right now. But I can see the ground, and that's a bonus.
Yes. Speaking of things working in our favor, our destiny pool for this session consists of 6 light side points.
And that's it, folks.
That's it. No dark side. Everybody here rolled two light side pips.
Yep. As you step down onto the sands of Korriban, you start hearing the wind whistling through the large structures that are around you. You see these stepped pyramids that go up and up. You see off in the distance a black, shining palace at the far side of a long clearing. As you stay there for a few moments, the wind seems to bring a sandstorm with it. It starts to cloud the already pink sky as it starts going darker and darker. What looks to be a sandstorm is moving through the open pavilion towards the shining shell.
Oh, this is why I gave us all scarves. Everybody block your faces. Make sure it's snug over your mouth so you can breathe properly and you don't inhale too much dust. If you've got goggles, now is the time to wear them. And if not, squint.
Well, we definitely need to do a goggle check to see who is the protagonist at this time.
I think we should skip that.
Okay. That's fair.
I still have the helmet from when we were undersea on deck. I mean, I assume that didn't evaporate.
What? Wait. What? Why do you have a helmet?
I have a helmet. It goes to my diving suit.
Where did diving suits enter into this?
Well, where do you think the ship came from?
I don't know!
Why are you still wearing the diving suit?
That's a good question. It's been a day.
I'm
Seems
not
pretty ungainly outside of the deep sea environment it was designed for.
Well, I thought if it can keep water out, it can keep sand out. But fine, I'll go. Just keep
It's
the
not
helmet.
Incorrect, I suppose.
You're not wrong about moving too. It's a little cumbersome. I like to be light on my feet. But the mask, that will work.
We stand here in awkward silence while the wind whips by, and there's just a loud clunk, clunk, clunk for, 3 straight minutes maybe. As Larry goes back to the ship.
We should probably shut the door too. The sand's blowing in.
That's a good idea. Might as well lock it too, just to make it a little bit harder to board.
Doo-doo.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
For my fellow party members, are we bringing the holocron with us? I say yes, because we don't know what's going to happen to the silver shell,
Yeah, I think.
and there's multiple people potentially looking for it.
I mean, I don't know that we actually decided that, but I think that was the direction we were headed with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should keep it with us.
Okay, fair enough.
It and the hypermatter reactor igniter.
Right, we were gonna mildly sabotage the ship.
Yeah, was that done last time, or just discussed?
It was discussed in the text chat after last time.
Okay. And
So we can do that more formally if you want. But just kind of.
Getting a average mechanics check does seem like a reasonable thing.
2 successes.
So
Yay.
now have a giant spark plug.
Hide it under a rock.
Hide it under a rock or take it with you.
Well, if it's big, I don't want to necessarily carry it.
Just remember which rock.
It's like screwdriver size.
Okay, then I'll carry it with me. Stick it in my diving suit.
Well, I don't have a diving suit. I feel left out now.
Now, to be fair, the ones that we had wouldn't have fit you.
All right, shall we?
Which way? The shiny thing in the distance?
I know I did a seek last time, because that's how I gained my conflict. So I'm assuming that I can still kind of point us in the direction.
You figure that in the general direction of the palace is where Ward is.
Okay.
How thick is the sandstorm?
It is pretty thick. Not like it's cutting flesh from the bone bad. There's definitely sand in the air. You definitely need to have a face covering and hopefully some sort of goggles, which I'm assuming everyone has.
If they were aboard the ship, then yes.
I'm assuming so.
Okay, then yes, I will wear goggles.
The reason I ask is, what is our visual distance?
So when you landed, it was essentially midday. When the sandstorm came in, it started to darken, and you're now only able to see out to roughly long range. It's not super closing. For the pavilion that was there, you can see maybe quarter of it at most.
Okay.
Out at the edge, it's fairly still hazy on account of a lot of glowing sand and other duders.
I was just wondering if we were at hand-holding difficulty of seeing.
Not quite yet.
Okay. Okay. Let's go.
One thing of note that should be said, and will likely be repeated. Now that you're on Korriban, anytime you use a force check, you get an extra dark side point.
Like, automatically?
Yeah.
Yep, they can choose to spend or not. Yay!
Yep.
So for Brandon, then, that means what? Two dark side pips? Because also there's the cryptic crystal.
Yeah, that would
At
be.
least if I'm like wielding the lightsaber, I would think. So yeah, I could potentially get some good mileage out of that. Don't have a ton of force powers that currently that give me a lot of things to do with like large numbers of pips. But it means I basically won't have to worry about just not being able to do things.
As you start making your way into the pavilion, you're having to first go down a set of stairs that are somewhat quickly filling with sand. This is the absolute worst sand for someone like, say, Anakin, because it is somewhat volcanic. It is fairly coarse. And with this wind, it does get everywhere. As you're descending, you start seeing shadows in the blowing sand. Like, sometimes you're starting to see nodules or lumps of sand or denser sections where more sand is flow past. But you're also seeing dark shadows that are seemingly... like, you can see where the sun is. You can see where shadows should be. And these shadows that you're seeing are not paying any sort of attention to physics. At the moment, they're not really person or animal shaped. They're just sort of lumps of shadow. You're getting the feeling that there's something out there. As you get down to what looks to be the main level of the pavilion, you start seeing that there are raised sections, shorter walls, and it looks not quite like a maze, but it definitely looks like there's central areas that were at one point long ago would have been like a cafe or a park. Now, really the only thing left is the external walls to it. So the sand and the wind are whipping around these different protrusions and causing a great amount of noise, and also the darkness seems to be ebbing and flowing along the paths a lot more. And what I would like to do is get, I guess it'll be a survival or a streetwise check for trying to navigate towards the palace.
One of us or all of us?
I figured it'd be a group.
Oh, good.
At the moment, the sand isn't bad enough that you're going to be losing each other yet.
I have no ranks in survival or streetwise and a 2 cunning.
Same. Help us, Koba.
Guess it's me.
Sorry, I'm a lot better at seeing things that are coming right at us.
Is it because your eyes are on the front of your head?
What was the
And
difficulty?
you're kind of tall. It is a red and a purple.
You know what? The odds are in my favor, but I'm going to go ahead and flip a point. Just
We could use a triumph.
Well, it is more fun when the game master has a point to spend.
Also, hate to get lost in this.
Not ideal.
3 successes and 2 threat.
Thank you.
How long do you suppose it's been since people actually lived here?
I actually find it a bit disturbing that, that people did. I didn't think that this planet was ever really inhabited.
Did you think they just made the giant temple-y things for the heck of it? It's one heck of a vacation home.
I wasn't really sure. Based on the materials and stuff, I'm guessing there's nothing that would have decayed pretty quickly. Like, there's no fabrics or bodies or anything like that to kind of tell age. It's just like stone structure and the things that would just last nigh forever.
Pretty much, yeah. There's a little bit of metal type things as opposed to like the stone that probably has been there for thousands of years. There's a bit of metal for like tables. Benches are definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like pretty much everything is scoured pretty harshly. Whatever was here at one point has been etched away. At least in this pavilion, there's nothing like a fallen corpse or anything like that. At least not that you're seeing at the moment.
I think it's been a long, long, long time, Koba.
Hard to imagine a bunch of dark Jedi going down to the corner.
Cantina, yeah.
Yeah, for drinks after dinner, or work, or I don't know. There's a lot of sand in my eyes, despite the goggles.
Well,
maybe this is all just some ill-advised Sith-themed amusement park somebody else added later.
Or maybe it's a good reminder that even the most evil of people didn't start off that way.
Or maybe we're completely misinterpreting everything we're seeing and it's actually some horrible death maze that they used to train each other. Who knows?
Or that, yes.
So, as you're walking, you're getting past the first section, and as you're walking through, as you're sort of bantering back and forth, you're starting to hear things that start sounding like words in the wind. Like, as the sort of high-pitched whoosh that is there, you're hearing on top of that a whispers in the background. It's kind of hard to make out over the sound of the wind, but you are starting to make out things like, "This is home, this is home, this is come to us here, come to us here, come to us here. You know it is right, you know it is right."
I believe I hear fell voices on the wind.
You're not the only one, Hillary.
As you get a little bit further into the pavilion, you see a relatively short shadow in the blowing sand. As you get closer and closer, it actually starts to resolve into a person. And this person seems to have a large stick next to them, or something that they seem to be leaning on, even though the person that you're getting up to is a relatively short being, roughly the same height as Hillary. The closer you get, you see someone with a large gray helmet on and red camouflage fatigues. As you get in closer, you start seeing the features of an Aline. They seem to be leaning on a light repeating blaster with the butt of the rifle sitting on the ground, looking at you with a bright, wide, toothy grin as only an Aline can give, that looks to be a little on the feral side.
I'm assuming, personally, that this is Manchucho or a shadow figment thereof.
Yes.
But he doesn't look right?
Doesn't quite look right. But at the moment, there's enough whipping around for sand that there seems to be something a little bit off, but you can't really tell.
Perception? Insight? Suspicion?
More of a discipline type thing.
At some point I got a rank in that, so that's okay. Difficulty, please?
It would be hard.
Ooh. Oh, hey. 1 success and 3 threat.
With the success, you look on and you see, essentially from the foot up, the shadow of Manchucho starts to disperse into the wind. The head staying in place the longest, kind of like the Cheshire cat. And with that, eyes start glowing brightly yellow, and the teeth take the same yellowish glow, and they're the last ones to disappear as they wisp off into the wind. I'm going to go with that. Feels like 3 strength.
I mean, fair enough. That seems like a particularly horrible sight to behold. I think, if I'm honest, Hillary is going to draw his saber. He's not going to turn it on yet.
All right.
But he's going to have it in hand. Because something hinky is afoot.
Did either of us see what Hillary saw, or
I'm
does
going
it
to go
just
with
to us
yes.
seem... Okay.
No, I'm going to go with that, at least for the moment. Everyone is seeing everyone's apparitions. If we start getting into solo apparitions or apparitions taking on different aspects to different people, we'll start bringing that up then. But at least until that point, it's going to be apparitions are common to everyone. For nothing else, for ease of role-playing.
Do you think that Alina was a threat?
I don't think it was my son, whatever it tried to pretend to be. And I don't trust things that pretend to be something they shouldn't. In a place like this, or pretty much anywhere. I don't know. But I don't like it.
How about we'll also draw lightsabers, but not ignite them, probably.
Okay, both of them?
Presently, I don't think he needs his hands or anything, so...
Okay, no, I was just wanting to double check that I was
Yeah.
understanding you correctly.
And mine was already in
Feet or
hand.
anything.
So, because staff.
As you continue on in the pavilion, you start hearing a distant set of barks off to your left, and it sounds like at least a couple canids are chasing something off to the side. You can't quite see it. You see sort of a motion off in that side. They look to be not tiny, but not huge. Off to the right, as you pass by the edge of, it looks to be a small planted area, and in this case it looks like a small copse of trees that have been planted and grew, but while they had grown thick, they have since petrified and then were blasted by sand. Now there's pretty much just the trunks with a few craggly branches going out and nothing over top with leaves or anything. It's almost entirely just like a stump that goes twice as high as Kesh. You hear the hiss of a very big-mouthed cat.
Coming from where? Because I think that would be the first thing, is trying to pinpoint where that noise is coming from, given the trees could also mean a predator above. We all know how dangerous the high ground is in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, if you fall from it.
Yeah, you can hear one hiss from the base of these trees, and you can hear another from up into the trees. All you can really do is hear it. You can't really see it. So if you're wanting to go looking, that would be a thing.
Did everybody else hear that?
Yeah.
I want to say no, but I think you would know otherwise, because... yeah. I don't know what it was. Bad news? Sounds like bad news.
I would think so.
We're going to ignore it and move on, please? Or we're investigating.
I think we should try to move on, but
Okay, good.
stay alert in case one of them decides to try to make a meal out of us.
As you continue on, I do want to get... This will be, I'm guessing, a group perception check.
Okay.
It makes sense it would be group, and it makes sense it would be a perception, so it would be a group perception check.
Okay.
I have a rank in this one.
I have 2 ranks. But still only 2 cunning.
I also have 2 ranks.
So I think this is on Koba again.
Okay.
But we get to support because we're ranked, right? This time we get to offer blues.
I will totally get the blues going. It's going to be a gnarly check on account of it is 2 red and a purple.
Yeah, I should have added blues to the last thing that I
good
did,
point.
but I forgot to. Generally, you don't have to have any ranks to assist.
Oh.
You assist better.
Yeah.
You potentially assist better if you do. I also have uncanny senses, so that's a boost.
It is supposed to have 2 setback.
I've got keen-eyed.
That will eliminate at least 1.
I've got 2 ranks of it, so... let's both
Okay, that does it.
5 successes, 5 advantage.
You round a corner in this promenade. As you finish rounding this corner, from above on one of these separating walls, you see the flash of a black, looks to be almost entirely a smoky black Nexu that is standing on top as it gets ready to pounce down. With the success and the advantage, I'm definitely going with you catch before it pounces.
It's a Nexu. Ignite lightsaber.
Gesundheit?
Big predatory feline. Just
I would also like to ignite my saber, but it takes me a while, I guess.
You just have to do the thing where you have to like shake the saber, tap the battery a little bit, just to...
It's
Sure, it's
Hillary.
nice.
Hillary has to do like a song and dance for it.
I was about to say, it only activates after like a specific twirl or flip. So.
Yeah.
How far away is the Nexu?
It has gotten to short range.
Okay. It's getting ready to pounce at us.
Yes.
Pretty obviously. And I think more how Kesh would react. She likewise would ignite her saber, but this might be where we come down to initiative. I think she'd reach out and try to actually pull it closer to where all the angry energy blades are waiting. To try to throw it off of its game.
All right. Well, I mean, there are 5 advantages on this roll. How do those want to get spent?
I'm pretty happy spinning them so that Kesh has time to do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that absolutely makes sense. I'm also figuring that would probably leave at least 2 to still be used. Because there's 5 advantages. That's a boatload of
Yeah.
My thinking for it is, if it lets me do a thing, then maybe it can either grant a boost or allow somebody else to kind of key off of that. Because part of my idea with drawing the Nexu closer is, besides me being able to strike, is my companions being able to lash out, since we're all kind of in a line on guard.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
All right. Do your thing.
Okay, let's see if I can even do this.
Here, kitty kitty.
So I have 3 yellow and a green, and then for this is draw closer from the Neiman Disciple Tree. Actually, is the Nexu silhouette 1?
Yes.
Okay, then yes, I can do this. Alright, so I have my
I
force
went
dice.
looking. Next one apparently are silhouette 1. I could have sworn they weren't, but
What's my difficulty?
I thought the draw had a specific difficulty to it.
It does... Well, it's the difficulty of the creature. It's technically a lightsaber attack, but then I can spend force pips to move the target closer.
Alright, in that case, it is 2 purple and 1 black on account of a little bit of cover from the wall that they're on top of.
Okay. I'm gonna line up my shot since I have no other use of my maneuver. And let's try this. Nope. So, dear listeners, I got a failure, 2 advantages, and 5 because of this planet, dark side pips. So I think Kesha reaches out to try to pull the Nexu closer and just fails on all accounts. I think when she reaches out, she's feeling, maybe going back to that other conversation, that fear for our safety, the uncertainty of this world, and the dangers around us. And she backs off on it when it starts to overwhelm her. And I think she fumbles a little bit otherwise, and I think then with the advantages will just be on a passive boost onto Koba, as she's going to try to like spur him on. Maybe she managed to like grab the next one up to throw it off balance for a moment or something, just try to provide a little opening, some kind of assistance. And that's what I got.
In that case, I think we should probably do initiative, at least to make sure that we know who's gone for all y'all. And also for my next eye.
Did you just pluralize that? I don't like that you just pluralized that.
Is this vigilance or cool?
I'm going to give the three of you the choice on account of, again, super amount of advantage.
Okay.
Seriously, you've got a triumph on that, which means you get
I got a triumph on that, but not the actual attempt strike. Yep.
Yeah.
You got it.
Just wanting to make sure that you're remembering.
Okay. Our initiative stands at a PC slot, followed by an NPC, then 2 PCs, and then one last NPC. I will yield the floor to Koba or Hillary, since I already tried a thing.
I'm happy to go. Yeah.
Please.
All right. So Koba's got the in one foot the pulsing red crossguard lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And the other yellow guard Shoto. And are we just gonna whack this thing? I think we're just gonna whack it.
It is still a short range.
We're gonna move and whack it.
All right. That's perfectly fair. I mean, Koba does have the other thing, too.
Yeah, actually, since it's a short range, Koba will saber throw the crossguard saber. Make a saber throw action, make a lightsaber combat check as a ranged attack, and add a force die for each of my force rating. Gotta spend 1 pip to hit, 1 pip to return. Does it have any adversary?
No, it has no adversary. It just has one setback due to partial cover.
Okay, so that's a bunch of yellows, because Koba's got lots of lightsaber skills today now. 1 purple for short range, 1 setback for its defense, a couple force dice, and of course I've got the 2 dark side pips that are automatic around here, or one from here and one from the saber itself. Okay, so I got 5 successes and a total of 4 dark side pips.
Jeez.
So we're gonna flip a light side point and take 2 conflict and suffer 2 strain to use 2 of those dark side pips to satisfy the hit and return requirements of saber throw.
And that is a monstrous amount of damage.
It's a lot, yeah. So 5 successes with this thing means 11 damage, and it of course has breach.
Yeah, so Soak just doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Koba just flings this Doug-sized crossguard saber, and it pinwheels through the air like a, kind of like a really awesome vibro ray.
What color is this one? Is this the red one?
It's the red one with crossguards.
As the blade crosses through them, catching it almost perfectly in the shining smile, it progressively evaporates as the saber slashes through it.
Called shot to the face.
Pretty much.
So I assume by that description, it clearly wasn't a physical being, and that's obvious to us now.
Not so much.
All right.
That'd be the initial assumption. Then a second one, which appeared to be in behind that one.
Oh.
I mean, there were Tusken Raidering it.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, there's sand. You've still got to hide your numbers.
It's doubly true in a sandstorm.
Slinking into view, a beast shrouded in darkness approaches you. It has a rough appearance and movement of a feline predator, but is swathed in inky blackness, concealed amid tangible shadows save for its gleaming teeth and 8 shining red eyes. It leaps towards Koba as it takes a slash with its claws and open mouth. Yeah, it's doing the move and then attacking. What does Koba have for defense at the moment?
No defense by default, but the crossguard saber, which Koba would catch as this thing is coming at him. Both the crossguard saber and the guard shadow have defensive 1, so he pretty quickly shifts into a parrying stance.
It slashily starts hitting at you, getting 4 success and 1 advantage on the roll.
All right.
So it is swiping at you with its 4 claws. It is very shadowy. It is definitely a black Nexu that doesn't seem entirely substantial, but it does a raw 10 damage.
Does it pierce or anything?
No.
Okay. We can use parry. Just have 2 ranks of, so that's I suffer 3 strain and negate 4 of the damage.
Okay.
And then Soak takes 3 more off of it, so Koba suffers 3 wounds.
All right.
As I guess one of the claws rips open his sleeve or something.
That sounds about right. Leaving a trickle of blood.
Yeah.
Showing that, yes, they actually do hurt. I mean, not super amounts, but they definitely do actually have a physical...
Oh, they don't look real, but they sure feel real.
Are you okay?
I'll be fine.
Are we at a point where, Kesh could actually go ahead and take that next action? Since she kind of acted before the initiative?
Yeah. Right now, in the initiative order, we've got 2 player slots, so that could be Hillary, Kesh, or Kesh, then Hillary.
Yeah. You don't have something you want to do, Leslie?
Not a notion.
Okay. Then Kesh is gonna try to help out with the other one and then take a swing at the one that dove at Koba.
Lightsabering, it should be, I messed up with Brandon's roll, but it should be 2 purple, 2 setback. I forgot the shadow portion, because it isn't normal defense.
Okay. I'm going to aim. I'm going to make use of draw closer again, because even though I'm already engaged or nearby it, it still can add successes to the roll.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I don't use this very often. Oh, never mind. That works backwards.
What?
I thought for a second I could remove those setback dice. I can't. I can give Devin setback dice. Because I completely forget how to play my character.
Good gravy.
Okay, I at least hit this time, but the Force still doesn't like me. So that's 3 successes, an advantage, and then 4 dark side pips. And that was my first time using the new lightsaber. So that will be 11 damage, breach 1, Ben.
Okay, 11 damage, breach 1 absolutely cuts through this.
Okay.
You pull it closer, it gives a surprise yip, and then as the blade slices through, the Nexu evaporates into a swirling shadow as the radiating out from where the blade would cut.
So not real, but does real damage.
That's a problem.
I'm inclined to agree. Koba, we should kind of tie you up a little bit before the sand gets in you.
Whatever you say.
Can I dad a little bit, Ben, and just kind of try and tidy him up?
Yeah, or I think you're going to try and do a quick medicine check on him.
That's what I mean. I have a little, one of those little white boxes with the red plus sign. I just tap it to his arm and it vanishes and he feels better. Is there a difficulty that you'd want me to roll?
It should be an easy check.
Okay, just keeping everybody tip-top. 4 things really go to pot.
Hey, that right.
Glad I ranked up that intellect. So that was a success, an advantage, and a triumph.
I feel better.
Not quite sure what to do with the triumph.
Neither am I.
Can I recover my strain too?
Hmm?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
So I've got 5 strain since I took some from using the dark side pips and some from parry.
I'll kind of tie him up nice and tight, and gentle pat on the back, and then offer him a lollipop or something. I do like a patient that can stand still.
I've just been carrying those things around this entire time.
Doesn't everybody have snacks? I know Skip does.
Cash, do you have snacks?
I don't. I tend to eat whatever has been handed to me, so no, I don't have a lot on me at this time.
That could get you into trouble.
Cash and I have no impulse control, so we don't have snacks.
If you have snacks, you eat them. Fair enough. It's good to know
yeah.
the limits.
I mean, I brought some water.
Also important.
Ah.
As you continue on, you hear the seething growl in the wind every now and then. You're relatively certain that there are more of those entities following you, but it doesn't look like any are willing to trying to attack yet. They seem to be staying inside the shadow that the sandstorm is providing. The sandstorm seems to have started to close in as you're pressing in further. Like now I'm figuring you're about halfway down the pavilion, and visibility is dropped to about medium range, and it's gotten darker. As you're getting covered between walls and through different passages, down any of the straight paths, the sand and the wind are whipping down one side so much more than the other. You're getting a little bit of shadow from that. And the side that is blatantly in the wind, you're seeing sand piling up on the wall side, almost as high as Hillary's shoulders, very quickly. When you had initially started down here, it looked surprisingly clean. Now the sand is starting to close in. With that, the beasties that are growling and the whispers of dark power and joining them are starting to get louder and louder.
I don't like the way the planet is talking to us.
How much farther do you think we have to go, Cash?
Let's find out. Because if the dice have been rolling the way they have been for me, I suspect I'm not going to have a clue. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. 2 light side pips and 3 dark side. So that's at least enough to do the general location for seek. Yeah, to gain insight of the general location or direction. But it does say regardless of current distance.
In this case, I'm interpreting that as the direction. The sand is closed in enough that you're not really able to see the far end of the pavilion at the moment. You know it's in that direction, but you also feel a confused node of the force in that direction, somewhere deep within what would have been the palace that you had seen. You also feel a echo of it a little bit closer, but it almost feels like a bubble of the force that is about halfway between where your desire to go is and you. Half like a reflection, half like a bubble.
So when Koba asks, Kesh closes her eyes for a few moments. Then she'll open them and say, I'm not quite sure. It's still in that direction, but there's also something in our path. It's like a mirror, or maybe a bubble, an echo. There's a connection there.
Great, none of those things sound absolutely terrifying.
Look, we didn't park any more than a day away, so as long as we don't get turned around, we'll get there. How's your foot? I guess is where you got hurt, right?
Like earlier tonight, or like the
like the Nexu attack.
It's fine. It was a pretty shallow cut. Hillary took care of it.
Okay.
losing an entire... well, losing a good percentage of a limb kind of makes everything else seem fairly minor.
Tell me about it, Kesh says as she turns and we hear a little whirl of her own mechno arm.
Well, no offense, but I hope I don't have to join the team and find out myself. Can you just stand there for a second, Kesh? I just need to use your arm for a second. Thank you. Sand's getting a little deep.
Do you wanna ride?
I feel like your mobility is going to be more important than that.
All right, let's continue on.
We do so, with Hillary doing his best to stay in the lee and stick to the less sandy areas.
You are able to get about another quarter of the way through the pavilion. Yes, that's where they've been going. It's at this point where you start hearing a loud stone on stone shifting, and there have been obelisks that you've been passing so far. You start seeing the shadow of one directly ahead for where the wind is coming from. It looks like it is starting to fall towards you. Okay, I did actually use a dark side point, not just...
Yes, you did.
You did.
Okay. So I'm wanting to get a athletics or coordination check to get out of the way of said falling stone pillar of unusual size.
I would like athletics, please.
Or I guess there's another thing Kesh could do.
Yeah.
There's a couple things she could try, but I'm guessing we only have seconds to react.
I mean, it worked for Yoda.
What's the difficulty?
For jumping out of the way, I'm going to go with this time it's a hard check.
Okay.
Point.
I think I'm just going to try to get out of the way.
Okay.
Because the force hasn't been working out so well for me, especially with the trying to move things late.
So I'm guessing that's coordination from Brandon and athletics from Christine?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So I got on a coordination 2 successes and 2 advantage.
I got 2 failure, a threat, 2 light side pips, and 2 dark side pips. However, I'll spend the light side pips to... Oh, I guess I'm still going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, you got 3 dark side pips.
But, I just want to say this now. Hillary got a triumph, 3 success, and 3 threat again. That seems to be a thing for today. So, is there a way that I can use my triumph to help take Kesh with me?
I would go with that. That would pretty much use up the triumph. And I'd definitely be going with the 3 threat would turn into 3 strain. Could definitely go with that.
Okay, so how does Hillary get Kesh out of the way? Do you
That's kind of the question.
Yeah, shoulder charge her? Do you borrow her force power for a moment? How are you doing it?
Are we submerged? How high are the walls we're looking at?
The actual stone walls themselves are 10 feet tall. The obelisk itself is, I'm going to go with about 60. It is absolutely, to say ostentatious would be an understatement, but that pretty much sums up Korriban. So
the question becomes, where are we going to be able to dodge? Is there a little broken part of the wall we can go through or something?
There are cross paths from where you are that you could be just dodging to the side of that.
There's an emergency off-ramp.
There's a regular design to the pavilion, but otherwise, if someone was wanting to be mean, it would be the perfect for a stone maze that people would be having to go through. But in this case, it's relatively straight runs. It's meant to be imposing and sinister, not necessarily make it so you can't get from your residence to your meeting point. They're evil. They still need to do work.
They're evil, but they're efficient.
They try for it.
I think what Hillary would have to do, because he's not got the mass to really move her easily, even with a shoulder check to the hip, there's too much for her. I think what he would end up doing is do a quick pinball up to the one side and then jump, grabbing at her shoulder to topple her to one side with him.
Okay. So the two of you essentially end up rolling to the side.
Yes, it's not dignified, but I don't care if we're not squished.
It's going to end up with the stone pillar coming down, and Hillary's able to bounce up. Kesha's almost able to get out of the way on her own, but it takes Hillary's pinballing in to get Kesha out of the way, and the two of them end up on the ground, panting as much as the air around them allows, as about 2 inches away is the side of the pillar, as the dust and some sand waft up in a cloud next to it.
And Koba's just fine.
Couple feet away, yes.
Yeah, Koba just rolls.
Well, that was a close call.
Death by design, I suppose. Or near death. Is the path we need blocked now?
The path you had been taking is now blocked. There is a walkway perpendicular to the path that you had been taking. With the pillar blocking the main path, the way the walls are now have it so that you're in a bit of a pressure zone, so the wind itself can't whip in near as much, and you've got a little bit of a place where you can catch your breath for a moment. About 10 feet away from the fallen pillar is another walkway that you see a cross intersection at. There's a path straight ahead and then also to your left and right. And going from right to left is where the sand is whipping past. You see a little bit of it getting up on the left wall. For the most part, in the little pocket that you're in, the wind is not whipping in. But everything also sounds like you've got your ears plugged.
Well, if not plugged full of sand, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the pressure. It really does sort of sound like your ears are plugged.
So, no offense, Kesh, but if we're headed in a specific direction, and it's a bit of a maze, how do we feel about indulging in some light cheating?
At this point, I'm all for cheating.
Okay. Give me a leg up. I'll check the top of the wall.
Alright. Cash will go ahead and offer to help Hillary up. If doing so physically isn't enough, she'll indulge in a little bit of force.
Physically, with holding on to Hillary's feet and then raising Hillary up, does work.
What do my Aline eyes see?
So through the goggles, as you're looking around, you have the pillar to your side, and you're looking in the direction that you've been traveling for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. To your right is the pillar. To the left, a decent distance out, is a parallel path, but you start seeing standing statues, and these are truly wondrous and massive statues. They're at least 100 feet tall, and they look like Sith masters that are standing there. Path goes to it, and then takes a turn back to the main thoroughfare line that you had been walking down.
So I can kind of give us some basic instructions to continue in the best path. I don't see any other fallen, collapsed things that we need to worry about.
No, it looks like this one finally succumbed to the wind, but there isn't anything else that seems to have fallen. One thing that you are seeing off in that direction is a hole in the side of a wall. It looks like there's a blackened rim around it, almost like someone tried to use explosives there.
Is that the direction we want to go?
It would be along the side of the direction that you would want to go. It wouldn't be in the direct... It would be as you're traveling down the path, it'll be off to the side.
Well, I will hop on down and report what I have seen, wondrous statues and blackened hole included. If we feel as though we've recovered ourselves sufficiently, I suppose we should continue on. Forging ahead. Wishing I had snowshoes.
So, well, we need to get around the fallen statue or take the other path?
Well, how big is... how tall is the obelisk that fell?
The obelisk that fell is...
It was 60 feet tall, but I mean,
Yeah, it was 60 feet tall. It was about 8-9 feet on a side. Square.
So, I mean, we could walk on top of that. It is going the direction we wanted. Right? I'm picturing that correctly?
Yeah.
The wind might make it a bit hazardous, but it could work.
All right. So I guess we're going to try to get over top of the obelisk.
Yeah, I think that's best.
Okay.
Because it gives us a straight shot.
The least time that we spend exposed, etc., the better.
So, Kesh, being the tall one here, will try to lend a hand for Hillary, and then Koba to see if I can get them to the top of the obelisk. And after they do so, I'll either try to climb up or try to jump up.
I'm figuring with Kesh's help, it would be easy to get up. Beyond Kesh actually having to jump up, I don't think that there's even the need for a roll. 2 people working to get up onto it. It's tall-ish, but definitely doable for 2 people. On the other hand, I do think unless someone's wanting to, help Kesh yard up.
We could anchor the pole, and she could use that as a kind of aid.
Yeah. Or we could grab the pole and try to pull her up that way.
Yeah.
Okay, that works to me.
Team effort.
That would be a combined athletics check.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're both super good at that, right, Brandon?
No.
Okay, this is how I'm going to do it. I want to get an easy combined check for athletics off of Koba and Hillary.
All right.
From that, we will then see how that translates into Kesh's thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Does Hillary
Or
have...
I can just jump up.
Or you can just jump up.
Oh, that's right. You have enhance.
I have enhance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Why are we... Yeah, no.
So why don't we see if that's an option first?
Jump up here.
It is not.
Wow, I am impressed.
Why are you jumping?
I know. D1 is decided. It has it out for me today. So with 4 dark side pips, I think Kesh tries to jump as you're like, oh, what are we worrying about this? And she's like, actually, I could use some help.
Have you forgotten how to jump? How to do the big jumping that you do?
No, I know how. It's there. It's just...
What's the problem?
There's darkness all around right now.
Are you telling me that if you jump on top of this obelisk, you'll be evil?
I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm on a slippery slope of some kind.
How about you just
And
give
I
us your
agree.
staff, and we'll kind of anchor it.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll just grab it.
Come on.
What's Hillary's brawn in athletics?
I mean,
1, 3.
that'd be pretty great. Jump, I'm evil.
What's Koba's?
2 and nothing.
Hey, you know what we have though?
Faith of the heart.
A multitude of light side points.
So we got 5. Let's get Kesh up here.
I also I will clever solution this
Ooh.
to
It makes sense.
cunningly try to pull Kesh up.
I see. You're utilizing my staff as leverage somehow.
You've done
Yes.
some work with levers in your past.
We've got some simple machines going on up here. So you said no ranks in athletics,
Nope.
Lizzie?
Got moral support.
And Ben, you said this was easy?
For you two, it is easy, yes.
Okay. Then I'll just take my chances with clever solution alone.
Okay.
That was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. 3 advantage.
It's okay. I got this, Koba.
All right, so that's
probably
going
don't
to
have
be
this.
an average check for Cash.
And a
Okay.
boost?
Yeah, a boost.
Okay. Okay, D1 finally relented.
But
I was
not on the
prepared if
dark
I.
side points. Good gravy.
Yeah, if I know I can't roll a light side point to save my life. Not since the beginning. That's what I say. If we roll old light side points, bad things happen. But yeah, if I had failed this, Cash was just going to be like, "Okay, I'm going to take another path out. We'll try to meet up." But I got 1 success and 3 advantages. By the way, that success came from the boost.
Oh, yeah. That's what you get for being clever.
Okay, so our greatest challenge in this adventure, the obelisk, managed to climb on top.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now we gotta get down the other side.
I'm figuring that y'all are on the top of the obelisk, leaning into the wind, walking along it, and I think that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it for this episode.
Get a dramatic shot of us looking out.
With the wind going,
Thank you for listening to this episode of Heroes of the Hydian Way. You can find show updates on Twitter at The Hydian Way, and you can find me, Ben, on Twitter at Deuterium Ice.
I'm at 12th Night. That's 12th and Night with a K.
I'm sometimes at AcePicarito, ACEPIKORITO.
Ren, who's not here for today, is at Ren Out of Time. That's Ren like the bird, out of time.
like the time.
Yeah, like the
episode.
I was just trying to say it like he does.
like the
And-
concept.
Leslie at Leslet GS. Like I do.
And we are all at thehydianway.com, where you can find previous episodes.
You can find more episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Plus, you can help us out by rating, reviewing, and subscribing.
We're also on Facebook as The Hydian Way, and you can holocom us at heroes@thehydianway.com.
If you like what we do and want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/thehydianway, or you can send the team some, I don't know.
Successes or light side pips?
Yeah, that would be nice. Some lights. Just send us some light side over at ko-fi.com/thehydianway.
Trying to think of a Dark Side Force user related like pun for what you might call like some kind of latte or cappuccino.
Well, I mean,
Something.
dark roast is a thing.
I've got nothing though. Yeah, other than like that.
Yeah, all I can think of is Phineas and Ferb's Star Wars Sith roast decaf.
Or at least no blasters at the moment. So
Put a gif of Shadow of the Hedgehog in the chat, listeners. That's what that pause was about.
Yes.
Does he have
Koba,
paws or
why are we all
hands?
getting this on our data pads right now?
I don't know. I also don't know why I'm explaining it in Koba voice.
I thought that was vaccination voice.
There might be one and the same now.
Yeah. They never tell you that your odds of becoming a no hard tug or at least non-zero as a side effect. You hit the button to ignite the blade, and then on your data pad, your authenticator app is like, someone's trying to turn on your lightsaber on Moraband. Is this you? And you have to hit accept.
okay, you went that way. I was going with like a transformation sequence. But yeah, both work.
That's fine too.
Okay. It's either a chainsaw or a leaf blower.
Oh my. Oh, that's Brandon now.
That's
fine.
a train.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, it was the combination of using a chainsaw or a leaf blower, and I'm hearing I heard the train.
I have no idea what I was just trying to write here. It looks like I just wrote Koba gets part.
Yeah. And
Okay.
play at the community center. I just heard. They just sent me an email. I went in for the audition before I took vacation.
Is it a one dog show? I feel like your mobility is going to be more important than that. The near future.
You don't say.
Did you just use Kesh's arm as a can opener?
I just used Kesh's arm to pull myself out of the sand, and then I got sand in my mouth and forgot how to speak.
I
Apparently.
didn't realize you had those little motors in the hand, Kesh.
Back when I got this thing, it was fully loaded. You should have seen it.
Yeah.
Could fire like a grapnel launcher, can opener, bottle opener.
Perhaps
was
if
the
there are
keys to
cats
my
around,
to
we
my
should
spaceship.
avoid can openers.
What was that?
I said if there are cats around, we should avoid can openers.
Yeah. It's okay. None of that stuff works anymore anyway.
It just periodically makes noises.
Scissors. Bigger scissors.
That's weird hooky bits that nobody knows what it does.
Yeah.
There's darkness all around right now.
Are you telling me that if you jump on top of this obelisk, you'll be evil?